Hi guys, and welcome back to the tip of the iceberg. I am the iceberg himself, DJ Iceburg, and this is another non-ad supported Buffy ReVamped Breakdown. Brought to you by, just kidding, it's still just me. Today we're going to take a look at the plot rumor making waves. We're also going to be discussing who could be returning from the original cast, and the not so cryptic live stream from a former cast member. Let's get into it. I want to start by addressing some things I didn't include in the previous breakdown. I wanted to separate some of it up into more videos rather than throw it all at you at once. Plus, we all know there's a lot of information floating around and it can be tough to separate the facts from the rumors, but more on that in a minute. But here's what I actually do know that I didn't mention previously. According to the same article from People's Magazine I talked about in the last episode, Fran and Kaz Kuzi are back as executive producers. These two were even part of the team who created the original Buffy movie. While they have done things like collaborating on art projects and playing a role in distributing South Park in Japan,
Shelly, we're watching that. Go back. Shut up, turd. I'm watching Buffy.
they haven't produced or directed anything as significant as Buffy the Vampire Slayer in terms of pulp culture influence since. Their most notable post-Buffy, Buffy-related work was trying to get a Buffy reboot off the ground in 2018. But that version got dusted. Now with the new sequel series, they're back in the mix as executive producer, but more in a behind-the-scenes role rather than leading the creative direction. That role, again according to the same People's Magazine article, will go to Gail Berman, who was an executive producer on the original Buffy series. I have a feeling her involvement is a key piece to the puzzle of what the feel of the overall reboot will look like. As we covered last time, Dolly Parton is also coming back as executive producer for the Buffy reboot. And as I mentioned, Dolly is the owner of the Sand Dollar production company. And turns out, Gail Berman was also the president and CEO of Sand Dollar at the time. This company was crucial in bringing Buffy the Vampire Slayer to life. Well, Gail isn't just casually returning. She's now the chairman and CEO of the Jackal Group, the production company behind the reboot. Her recent success with Wednesday, the Addams Family spinoff, only highlights her continued mastery in bringing unique, character-driven stories to life. Like Buffy, Wednesday blends dark humor, charm, supernatural elements into something captivating. Having Gail back in the chair, making decisions, and Dolly back in the executive producer's chair, working together again in this reboot is almost like a full circle moment. It's a direct mirror of the original series, and these two have a great working relationship. In an interview with the New York Times in 2016, Gail talks about how Dolly had found out that Gail didn't receive the same amount of Buffy royalties that her male counterparts did. She states that Miss Parton told her that she had been unhappy to discover that the men of the company had given Miss Berman a less than generous share of the Buffy royalties, and with that, Miss Parton gave a startled Miss Berman a check. Honestly, this is a great team to have on the reboot, and I think it should help calm any fears that this reboot won't have the same feel as the original series. But that brings us to the next part that so many people are wanting to know about. What's in the story and who's in it? Unfortunately, everybody on the team has been very tight-lipped about it from what I can find. But according to the man himself, Daniel Rickman, who fancies himself a scooper and influencer, he may actually know the tea. This guy makes literally tons of content and has a huge following. However, though entertaining, a good chunk of it when it comes to plot predictions doesn't always come true.
It is a sham, but it's a sham with yams. It's a yam sham.
But he does seem to have a firm grasp on when trailer releases premiere. I'll have to keep an eye on this one. But nonetheless, let's cover what he's found out. First, let's cover the cast. Leading the way is Nova, who Daniel believes is the main character and slayer. She's a high school vampire hunter, determined and fearless, balancing school life and slaying. This sounds vaguely familiar, but why Nova? Why is she the one that takes the mantle as the new slayer? With so many slayers now active in the world, why are we focused on this one? Here's the top 3 options this could be. First being, she's a slayer unlike the rest. Nova might not just be another slayer among many in the world. She's special. Whether it's her unique abilities, her mysterious lineage, or even a deep prophecy, maybe she has a connection to something bigger. There's a force that's been building towards her, and it's clear that she's destined for a far more important role than the others. Perhaps she's not just the next slayer, she's the slayer the universe has been waiting for to face a threat that no one else can handle, even Buffy. Then there's theory number 2. The Slayers are in crisis. Now this is where things get a little interesting. The Slayer community itself is in crisis. With so many new Slayers activated, chaos is spreading among them. Some have lost their way, others have gone rogue, and no one seems to know how to restore the balance. That, or like one person said, they could all be being killed. This, however, seems unlikely, because the plot has already been done in the final season of the original Slayer series. they would be prepared for another attack like this. But regardless, that's where Nova comes in. She could be the one chosen to bring order to the disarray, either by leading the new Slayers or by facing off against the ones who have turned to the dark side, or maybe able to combat who's killing all the other Slayers. This crisis could be the key to why Buffy, despite all of her struggles, is focusing on Nova. She may see Nova as the one who can handle what the rest of them can't. Then there's the last option. Nova is Buffy's successor. Buffy's role in Nova's story is significant. It's one thing for Buffy to be mentoring Nova, but it's another for Buffy to recognize her as her successor, the one who's meant to carry the mantle forward. Buffy has had her struggles with the Slayer role in the past, even rejecting it at times.
I quit. I resign. I'm fired.
But what if she's now coming to terms with the fact that Nova is the true heir to the Slayer's legacy? What if Buffy realizes that Nova is the one who has the strength to lead and the skills to face an even greater threat than any Slayer before her? This isn't just mentorship, this is passing along the torch, or scythe. A recognition that Nova is the one who will lead in ways Buffy could never. One thing holds true across the board though. This Slayer will be different, but according to Daniel, what won't be different is she will have her own gang of who's in the know. Meet the new Scoobies. First, there's Abe, Nova's father. With a journalistic background, Abe is all about uncovering hidden truths. As one parent is mentioned in Daniel's release, this will mirror the original show, but with the father being the sole parenting role. He'll bring an outsider's perspective to the supernatural world, acting as a grounding force in Nova when the need is most. His role contrasts with the traditional male role we're used to seeing, the male watcher. But will he be in the know about Nova already, or will we see another reaction to her coming out?
You walk out of this house, don't even think about coming back.
Next we have Mr. Burke, the librarian who becomes a vampire. Now, Mr. Burke is an interesting one. He starts out as the librarian, essentially filling the mentor role, possibly even a watcher as before, and we're expected to trust him because of the original show. But there's a twist. He becomes a vampire. This change adds complexity to the character and could introduce the potential for conflict. If this is the true storyline, honestly, he could be the first season's big bad. The emotional connection between him and Nova could serve as a major point of tension, especially if he's hiding dark secrets or struggles within his own demons. Maybe rather than killing him, maybe they'll decide to call on an old friend to give him back his soul.
Te implore duamne, nu ignora chesta rugamente.
Up next is Cole, or as Daniel calls him, the Alpha Leader. This is a weird dynamic to me though, as you would expect Nova to shine through as the leader. However, Cole could be the type of charismatic leader who adds a lot of tension to the group dynamic. His confidence and leadership skills might serve as a counterbalance to Nova's growth. There's also potential for some romantic tension between him and Nova, adding a layer of emotional complexity to her journey. As an Alpha Leader, he could challenge Nova's authority, while also providing her with the guidance she needs to become the leader she's meant to be. I see this as a character as being more of a Riley Finn type persona. Regardless, it looks like the brooding type isn't what Nova is going to go for. The character Hugo is up next, introduced as the group's tech-savvy member providing both comic relief and expertise. Described as a wealthy nerd, Hugo combines the technology prowess reminiscent of the original series Willow with the affluence associated with Cordelia. His substantial resources offer the team access to advanced technology and vital connections that would otherwise be out of reach. Beyond his financial contributions, Hugo's deep understanding of cybersecurity or strategic thinking makes him an indispensable asset to combating modern supernatural threats. While he'll probably prefer to avoid physical confrontations, his passion of games like Dungeons & Dragons translates into imaginative and effective battle strategies, allowing him to assist the team from behind the scenes. As the series progresses, however, Hugo's character could be expected to evolve, revealing hidden depths and showcasing his growth from a supportive strategic character to someone key in fighting against darkness. Now here's the biggest change in the original dynamic. They are breaking the nerd role up into multiple people. Enter Gracie. She's the best friend who's essentially a Buffy superfan, which is perfect for adding some humor and lightheartedness to the show. But don't let that fool you. Gracie also has a crucial role to play. She's the one who knows the lore inside and out, and she'll be the one digging into the history of the Slayers and supernatural world. She's also there for emotional support for Nova, grounding her when the weight of being a Slayer is too heavy. While she might bring some levity, Gracie's role is integral into the team's success. I also want to focus on the word superfan. Now in today's culture, it's loosely thrown around, but I have a feeling this is going to be more of a 90s superfan type vibe. This gives us a more specific personality trait, which is more common in someone like Harmony, which humor and lightheartedness, as described, would encompass that role as well. And to help things even more current, we have Mia, the social media obsessed persona. Mia is a character who definitely adds some complications to the story. She's obsessed with social media, which leads to some problems in keeping the supernatural world hidden. However, I think there is more to her than we know. I have a strong feeling she's going to be the next generation's Cordelia Chase. There will probably be many scenes with her recording and making content for social media platforms. I also have a feeling she's going to be head over heels in love with Cole, which will create some tension with Nova. Clearly they attempted this role in Angel, but hopefully they'll learn from the St. Cordelia mistakes. Now, as I mentioned previously, though this sounds really cool to know who the characters are going to be, new and fresh, take this with a grain of salt and a pinch of holy water until confirmed. But while we're waiting, let's cover the potential for former cast members to appear or not. First out the gate is of course Willow Rosenberg, played by Allison Hannigan. Willow was one of the most integral and beloved characters in the original Buffy the Vampire series, evolving from a shy and nerdy student to a powerful witch. Her journey was full of personal growth, and she had a deep connection with Buffy and the rest of the gang. As one of the main supporting characters, Willow is expected to play a significant role in the reboot, especially given her importance in the original show. Though Allison Hannigan hasn't publicly commented recently, it's likely that Willow's character will be crucial in connecting the past to the new world of Buffy. The character's magical powers and expertise could be pivotal in guiding the new generation of Slayers. It's clear that her bond with Buffy remains one of the central emotional arcs of the original series, so her presence would be a natural fit in the reboot. Next up is of course Xander Harris, played by Nicholas Brennan. Xander, the lovable, loyal, and often comedic member of the Scooby Gang. However, recent years have been rough for Nicholas, who has openly struggled with personal issues including alcoholism, depression, and legal troubles. In 2019, Brennan was arrested in Terre Haute, Indiana, related to an incident tied to those personal challenges. This has impacted his public career and made it difficult for him to stay in the public eye. With Xander's struggles off-screen, his involvement in the reboot could be complicated. Although no official word has come from Brennan or the Buffy team, it's possible that the reboot could address Xander's journey in a more grounded and realistic way, particularly given the actor's struggles, simply keeping him as an off-screen presence with casual mention. Whether Xander will return in some capacity remains to be seen, but his impact on the original show cannot be denied. Next is Rupert Giles, portrayed by Anthony Head. Anthony has always been a fan favorite in his portrayal of the wise and often weary Watcher. As the man who mentored Buffy, Giles became a father figure of her and the rest of the gang. Though previously Head has not been very vocal about his interest in participating in a reboot, even missing the reunion photo shoot in 2017 with Entertainment Weekly, in more recent years he's expressed a willingness to return if it made sense to the story. In an interview in 2020 with New York Post, he even suggested that given the passage of time, Giles could now portray the head of the Watchers Council. Head described the original series as formative and indicated that he would be open to participating in a new iteration of the show, given the original Watchers Council was destroyed.
For by wise counsel, you shall make your war.
Giles could well play the pivotal role in leading a new council or overseeing the next generation of Slayers. His return could be vital in providing guidance to a new generation of Slayers and bridging the gap between the original show and the new era. But whether he's a mentor, a leader, or a more seasoned character in the new Watchers Council, Giles' presence would carry immense emotional weight for both the story and the fans. Now the brooding Angel, played by David Boreanaz. In typical Angel fashion, David had remained largely cryptic about his potential return for the reboot. He did, however, drop a subtle hint in a comment on Sarah Michelle Gellar's Instagram post, which left fans speculating about his involvement. David is known for being tight-lipped when it comes to spoilers, and in true form, hasn't given much away. His character Angel went through some major emotional and narrative arcs in the original show, especially with his complicated relationship with Buffy, and then further into his own spin-off series. The fact that he's only posted a single comment could point to his involvement with a carefully planned narrative. Fans will need to wait and see if the vampire with a soul will be back for more brooding moments, or if he's left his past behind to wave the way for new characters. And now we come to Spike. This character, played by James Marsters, has been one of the most vocal cast members about the reboot, but what stands out the most is his extremely cryptic live stream comments. In it, James revealed that he is intentionally choosing his words carefully to protect the integrity of the reboot.
But in the interest of having the project be the best it can be, it's best that I keep my mouth shut right now.
The words here suggest that his character, Spike, could play a significant role in the new series. Spike's survival at the end of Angel, which was unknown to Buffy and others.
Spike.
Blondie Bear?
This could be a key plot point in the set to unfold in the reboot. James's refusal to give specific details raises the stakes and leaves a lot of room for speculation. Could Spike be a central figure in the reboot, or is there a bigger revelation coming for his character? His secrecy and his careful choice of words seem to indicate that he's actively involved, possibly in ways fans haven't yet imagined. Seth Green, who played Oz in the original series, has also expressed his affection for his role, the werewolf with a calm demeanor and a heart of gold. He has mentioned multiple times that he would love to return to the character, especially given that Oz's departure in the original show was not given a satisfying resolution. Green has pointed out his desire to return to the Buffy universe to provide his character with the closure he deserves.
Well, now that Buffy, like a revival, is in the works, are you hoping to see what Oz is up to 20 plus years later and work out a better deal for yourself?
I love that character. And if there was more story to tell, I'd be there to tell it.
His involvement could add an interesting layer to the new show, especially given his past relationship with Willow and the changes that may have occurred since he last appeared. His nostalgic comments on social media and past interviews have left fans hopeful for a return. Now, Mark Blucas, who played Riley Finn, Buffy's love interest for Season 4, has also showed some interest in revisiting his character. On a podcast, Blucas stated that he's been open to the idea, but has focused on his personal life and other professional commitments in recent years. His character's departure from the Buffy universe left some unresolved questions, so his return could provide an interesting narrative thread for the reboot. However, whether Riley's character is being brought back or not remains uncertain, with Blucas remaining silent on any official involvement. Eliza, who portrayed the rebellious Slayer Faith, has distanced herself in recent years, focusing on career and therapy. She has not commented on the reboot or expressed any desire to return to her role. Given her focus on personal development and lack of public statements since the reboot announcement, it seems unlikely that Faith will appear in the new series. However, her character's past was a fan favorite, and there could be room for her in future seasons, should she ever decide to return. Tom, who played the awkward and lovable character Andrew, is still active in the acting world and has participated in Buffy reunion events. In a recent interview, he said the following.
Buffy reboot, would you be up for it?
Oh, of course. I would love to. If they'll have me, sure. I mean, that role changed my life, and getting to work on that show, and especially getting to work with Sarah.
Now, Andrew was an important character during the later two seasons, and Tom's quirky portrayal still resonates with fans. His return could offer a fun dynamic and serves as a light-hearted contrast to the more serious tone of the reboot of the vampires. Mercedes McNabb, who portrayed the ditzy and at times villainous Harmony, has made no mention of a possible return to Buffy. However, she did appear in the same podcast as Mark Blucas, but didn't discuss her role in a potential reboot. While her character's evolution from high school antagonist to a member of the vampiric elite could make for an interesting storyline. McNabb hasn't shown any interest in reprising her role, so her return remains unclear at this time. Now, y'all, there have been so many who have done interviews with this podcast team, including James or Jimmy Leary, who also played Clem, who is also expressing interest, and this has just happened this last year. If you all haven't checked out Buffy the Vampire Slayer, do so. It's even on YouTube. The link will be in the description down below. And finally, let's talk about the mysterious IMDb page. Yes, there is a listing about the Buffy reboot still live as of this recording, but there's been some confusion about the details. At one point, the page even featured a poster showing someone standing over a grave with a hand reaching up from the dirt, along with the tagline, "If the apocalypse comes, text me." A clear modern-day riff on Buffy's original iconic line, "If the apocalypse comes, beat me." Nostalgic, clever, and very likely not official. That poster has since been removed and the IMDb page remains. And here's the thing, anyone with an account can submit info to IMDb. It doesn't require studio confirmation, so just because it's there doesn't mean it's real. Most fans on Reddit, and we're talking about the hardcore Buffy crowd, have already pointed out that the image looks AI generated and probably wasn't affiliated with the studio at all. So for now, treat everything on that page with a healthy amount of hell-mouth-sized skepticism. We'll keep our eyes peeled for official confirmations, but until then, grain of salt, pinch of holy water. That's going to wrap up this edition of Buffy's ReVamp Breakdown here on the Tip of the Iceberg. I'm DJ Iceburg, and you've just scratched the surface. Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, or just send me a text if the apocalypse comes, because don't beat me. My pager's somewhere in Sunnydale. Catch y'all next time.
Arg.